Donald Trump is collapsing, and he's dragging the entire Republican Party down with him. Not only is he facing backlash over his connection to Jeffrey Epstein and the fallout from his massive, unpopular budget, but his controversial tariffs are back in the spotlight. These tariffs are essentially a tax on everyday Americans, while Trump has handed historic tax cuts to the wealthy. Even some Republicans are starting to push back, and Trump is lashing out in response. Now, before we can get into why Donald Trump is attacking a Republican senator, we have to start with the reason, and that's his failing tariffs broken down by Jessica Tarloff right here.
On the trade front with the Japan deal, the headline I was paying attention to was that the United Auto Workers and the Big Three opposed the Japan trade deal. And I went through and I collected some recent headlines just to give a tasting of what the golden age actually means on the ground. General Motors' profit shrank 35% last quarter. President Trump's tariffs are costing Jeep maker Stellantis hundreds of millions of dollars. The cost of beef is at its highest level since the 1980s. And from today, independents drive Trump's approval to 37%, a second-term low. So the only president to beat him is himself from the first term. Border security, sure, he still has a positive approval rating on that, but not on immigration as a whole, because lo and behold, people don't want grandmas and people who've been here for decades rounded up. They don't want people sent to CCOT. He's lost 40 points with Gen Zs, so there goes that narrative that suddenly young people are conservatives. Independents approval down to 27%. But the cherry on top, I think, is that 70% say that Trump hasn't done enough to lower prices. And that is the reason that he won this election. It was an election about the economy where people had said, inflation is too high. I go to the grocery store and I see what's going on. And I was obviously on this panel throughout the election. And you guys said to me repeatedly, stop telling people what their real life looks like. Stop telling people what their real life looks like applies right now. They are saying that Donald Trump is too focused on his hard hat mission or his crypto, whatever, and get the prices down.
Well, lately, the White House has been hyping up Trump's tariffs more than usual, likely because Trump is off on his global golf tour, using the presidency to enrich himself, as always. They seem to believe the so-called wins from tariffs will distract from the Epstein scandal, but they won't. What Trump calls tariff revenue is just money taken from regular people through higher prices. Even some Republicans like Josh Hawley are pushing back. He's proposing a $600 rebate to offset the costs. And Trump's not taking it well. What Hawley said gets a bit weird right here.
So this is not going to the hedge fund managers or all the Biden voters. This is not going to the Wall Street kingpins. They don't need any of it. This is going to the Trump blue-collar voters, the people who Joe Biden crushed, the people who didn't get a raise under Joe Biden for 4 long years, the people who cannot afford their gas because Joe Biden shut down our energy, who can't afford their groceries because Joe Biden drove up the price of everything. And it is a message from us to them, from Trump to these folks, that he is here to deliver for them. You know, I got the idea from the president. I mean, the president said maybe we ought to do a little rebate. Great idea. It tells our people, the working people, that we are here for you and these policies are going to benefit them. And we're in it for the long haul. These Trump policies are here to stay.
So Josh Hawley is pitching this right-wing populist, write a check, send it to the working man. But why, Josh? Like, why? Why do you have to do that? Is it because Donald Trump's budget that you voted for is going to be making life more expensive, kicking people off their health care, shutting down hospitals? Is it because the tariffs that you refuse to do anything in opposing are raising prices? Well, Donald Trump clearly thinks that's the reason, and it's why he attacked Hawley in this post right here. Why would one Republican Senator, Josh Hawley, from the great state of Missouri, join with all the Democrats to block a review sponsored by Rick Scott and with the support of almost all other Republicans of Nancy Pelosi's stock trading over the last 25 years? The information was inappropriately released just minutes before the vote, very much like sabotage. The Democrats, because of our tremendous achievements and success, have been trying to target me for a long period of time, and they're using Josh Hawley, who got elected twice, as a pawn to help them. I wonder why Hawley would pass a bill that Nancy Pelosi is in absolute love with. He is playing right into their dirty hands of the Democrats. It's a great bill for her and her husband, in quotes. I don't know why, but so bad for our country. I don't think real Republicans want to see their president, who has been unprecedented in his success, targeted because of the whims of a second-tier senator named Josh Hawley. Josh Hawley is clearly on Donald Trump's bad side for pointing out that these tariffs are costing regular people money. That's why he's proposing a rebate that probably won't happen. Republicans rarely support policies that make life easier for working people. But what really set Trump off wasn't just Hawley's comments, it was that this distraction failed. Trump wanted to use the congressional stock trading vote to shift attention from the Epstein scandal. Instead, Hawley made things worse for him. But someone who hit even harder and far more effectively was Senator Elizabeth Warren, who completely dismantled Trump's trade.
Ambassador Greer, we lost 700,000 jobs each month in the last recession. If 700,000 Americans lose their jobs, will the Trump administration suspend these tariffs?
Senator, I think the economists who are making these projections, who often are in favor of fully unfettered free trade, are the same ones who said in the first Trump term that putting tariffs
Greer,
is something that's going to happen.
Let me just stop you there. I'm not asking about projections. I'm asking if the numbers show that 700,000 people have lost their jobs because of these new tariffs that Trump has slapped on. Will the administration reverse course and lift those tariffs?
Senator, that's not going to happen. We've lost 5 million manufacturing jobs over the years, which is the number I'm most worried about, and we have to get those jobs
back.
So
I take that as a no. If 700,000 Americans lose their jobs, will the Trump administration suspend these tariffs?
Senator, I think the economists who are making these projections, who often are in favor of fully unfettered free trade, are the same ones who said in the first Trump term that putting tariffs is something that's going to happen.
Let me just stop you there. I'm not asking about projections. I'm asking if the numbers show that 700,000 people have lost their jobs because of these new tariffs that Trump has slapped on. Will the administration reverse course and lift those tariffs?
Senator, that's not going to happen. We've lost 5 million manufacturing jobs over the years, which is the number I'm most worried about, and we have to get those jobs back.
So I take that as a no. Let me try another one. Moody's says that if the Trump tariffs remain in place, we will definitely plunge into a recession, which will ultimately cost 3.5 million Americans their jobs. So, Ambassador Greer, if Trump's tariffs push 3.5 million people out of work, will the Trump administration reverse course and lift those tariffs?
Senator, the Wall Street analysts are wrong. They never want to have any kind of change to the status quo.
Right or
but that's who you're quoting to me,
Senator.
Senator.
I'm giving you a number. If Trump tariffs push workers out of their jobs and raise prices, as Fed Chair Powell has predicted, will you reverse course then?
I think also with respect to Chairman Powell, who I don't know personally, but I know the president makes decisions on trade, and he rarely takes advice from Chairman Powell on this. We found in Trump 1 that you could put tariffs on China and you could make it work and have lower income, lower unemployment, lower in inflation, and increase real median household income over time as we reshore. And that's what we have to do, Senator.
What I'm hearing you say is that no one can hear a rhyme or reason to why the tariffs are off again, on again, off again, on again. But what you're telling us is the fact that hundreds of thousands, even millions of people could lose their jobs and that prices could go up will not be a factor for you or for Donald Trump for rolling those tariffs back.
Donald Trump is orchestrating the most idiotic economic agenda, if you can even call it that. In American history, there's no plan. He's made it very clear. He just likes sending the letters. He's a big fan of he just likes the letters. He wants to pretend that he's tough. He never has been. He never will be. And it's why we're going to keep calling him out on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.